Morning Grind with Pork Rind.
Welcome to the show.
It's a Tailgate Thursday here on the Morning Rant, presented by your friends at Green Heating and Cooling. Once again, Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock this morning as we are live here inside our Kerridge Kia studios, and we appreciate you guys being with us. Hey, a busy show coming up over the next 60 minutes. Our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open at 866-888-0744. Once again, that's 866-888-0PIG, 0PIG, that's 0744. Joined this morning by the golden boy himself, Will Cooper, as we get set to talk Atlanta Braves, our Tomahawk take coming up here in the second segment of the program today as we get right into it. A lot of Braves talk going on, but first off, again, some big news breaking yesterday. The Braves, former Braves owner and legendary icon, broadcast pioneer, Ted Turner, passing away at the age of 87. A lot of big Braves news going on lately. We lost John Sterling, who, of course, was one of the old Braves announcers back in the early 80s there, and Hawks as well. And now we've lost Ted Turner. So, again, there's going to be a lot of different tributes and things that'll be happening within the Braves organization over the next couple of weeks. But I want to bring in my Braves insider, Will Cooper, joining us. Good timing right here, back in your normal time slot here, partner, on this Tailgate Thursday.
Man, thanks for having me. A lot of stuff to talk about since we talked last about what the Braves have going on and just sports in general. So you guys have been holding down the fort, and hopefully I can keep up, half decent work for you guys.
I'm sure you'll do just fine, partner. Hey, I want to get your thoughts real quick because it's been a while, like you said, since we talked to you. I think we had you on last Tuesday, so it's been over a week now. Your thoughts on the Kentucky Derby? I know it's kind of old news now, but I want to give you a chance because it's your first time back on the program since the race happened there. We had our friendly little pool right there, and I think you were the winner. You were the winner of the host challenge right here on the Morning Rant. So want to give you a second to gloat, man, and lay it on.
Yeah, I could take credit and say that I had some great insight into it. That would be a lie. I picked, just like I think any 5-year-old would pick, I picked the names I thought I liked the best.
Yeah.
And that's normally how I pick my ponies, man, because I think when it comes to horse racing, there's not a lot of analytics that you can do when it comes to animal races. It's a little bit beyond the realm of what I do.
So what you're saying right here is you didn't run your picks through the Cooper Predictor, right? I mean, is that kind of what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no shot, man.
No formula for the for horse racing yet with the Cooper Predictor, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show here today. We always end the show by running a few things through the Predictor, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Hey, we were live yesterday at the pub in Ellijay, and yesterday afternoon we had a conversation. We've got some things going on here in the studio with our sister station tomorrow, with some folks being in here and so forth, and we are in kind of cramped quarters to a certain extent for the few of you that may have ever been in this building and kind of seen the setup. So I want to make the announcement right here on this Tailgate Thursday that tomorrow we were planning on having Big John Davis in studio with us inside our Kerridge Kia studio tomorrow for our Friday Happy Hour edition of the program. However, the plan has changed. We will be back on location tomorrow. Twice this week now. The Morning Rant, we're taking it to the people because this is a show for the people, and we will be broadcasting live tomorrow from 10 to 12 from Ronnie Thompson Ford in Ellijay. Again, Heath Thompson and Chad Jones, again, General Sales Manager, all of our friends at Ronnie Thompson Ford in Ellijay. We will be broadcasting live. Part of the reason we're doing this is because Big John Davis will be with me. He will be in person, and we wanted to do something to get back into John's hometown with Big John Davis being there. So if you're listening to the show today, whether you're listening live right now over the dial or whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, at some point here on a Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, just know that we will be live from 10 to 12 tomorrow at Ronnie Thompson Ford in Ellijay. Come by and see us. We'll throw you a stress ball, a rally towel. Come by, shake our hand, pop on by. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, again, we will be back live on location tomorrow for the program, and we hope that you'll join us for that. I know it's kind of short notice. It's not something that we've heavily promoted. We'll put some stuff out on our social media today as well to kind of let you guys know. Tell your friends, family, if you're in and around the Ellijay area tomorrow, we'll be back there again, as we were yesterday at the pub in Ellijay enjoying those $1 wings. Hopefully you got your fill of those wings yesterday and last night at the pub in Ellijay as part of our Winging It Wednesday. Tomorrow back in Ellijay as part of our Friday happy hour, but it'll actually be our Friday happy hours from 10 to 12 tomorrow right here on the program. In here today on this Tailgate Thursday, chopping it up with my man Will Cooper. We're talking about Ted Turner obviously passing away, Braves icon. We were reminiscing this morning with some of the other folks in the building about some of the crazy, wacky promos, things that the Braves used to do, some of the gimmicks back in the early 80s, well before your time, Coop. But I know you remember some of that stuff as far as, having read up on it and everything. But Ted Turner was definitely creative in his approach to trying to market the Braves. I think it's kind of ironic that when you look at this year's City Connect uniforms, being those powder blue, the old nod to the old, WTBS days on the sleeve there with the block lettering, the same year they roll those out, Ted Turner passes away. And so very much a nod to him that, we didn't even know at the time was going to happen. And I will say this, Hank Aaron passed away in 2021. The Braves won a World Series. Ted Turner passes away in 2026, and now there's a question mark. Can the Braves pull it off this year? So we're going to talk more about the Braves in the second segment. But your thoughts, man, on this sports week so far as we're into, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. I know you've had your eye on a lot of different things here over this week.
Yeah, it's been a good week, man. Obviously, the Braves dropped their first series of the season, which I know is disappointing to a lot of people, but the reality is that was bound to happen. It's a 162 game season. The odds of you winning every 2 out of 3 is, minimal. But they're still in a great spot. We'll talk about that in the next segment. And then, other than that, NHL playoffs, man, have been fantastic this year. Last night, Anaheim with a big upset win on the road in Vegas. That series is tied 1-1.
Yep.
Headed back to Anaheim. And then the Hurricanes with a 2-0 lead over the Philadelphia Flyers right now. So Carolina making a lot of noise, and they'll head on the road. So just need to pick up one. They got home ice advantage, a higher seed over in the Eastern Conference. But, the NHL playoffs altogether, if you're not a big hockey person, I understand. You may be like, why do I care?
Right.
But if you just pick a team kind of every year and just watch it through, you'll find that it's highly entertaining. And that's what I kind of do now is, even though we don't have a team in Atlanta, I like just picking a team out of a hat and being like, it's just picking them out of a hat and seeing what happens. So the Hurricanes and the Ducks have been who we've been watching, and it's been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, the Avalanche. I'm not sure there's any beating the Avalanche this year. They're already up 2-0 on the Wild. The Sabres getting it done last night over the Montreal Canadiens again to take a 1-0 lead in that series right there. So yeah, NHL playoffs rocking and rolling. NBA playoffs as well. Again, the Knicks with a 2-0 lead now over the Sixers. Detroit leads Cleveland 1-0 in the eastern side. On the western side, again, you've got the T-Wolves and Spurs tied at 1 apiece, and OKC leading the Lakers 1-0 in that series as we continue to follow that. Hey, have you gotten your Angel Reese jersey yet, Coop? Because, again, the WNBA season starts this weekend. I know you're fired up.
Yeah, I go back to the old Family Guy joke of would you rather your local WNBA team win a championship or have $5? I would rather have $5.
Oh, come on now, man. You can't dump on them like that now. I mean, come on now. There's not the least bit of little excitement there at all, is there?
I could genuinely care less.
And you know what? I'm kind of with you on that too, partner. I hate to say it, man, because I do appreciate women's sports. I love watching, the college softball World Series more so than I like watching the guys, more so than I like watching the baseball to a certain extent. Men tend to like college volleyball for whatever reason. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
It.
I couldn't tell you. But yeah, so again, there's a lot of college sports going on. Hey, speaking of, later in the show, let's clean it up here a little bit. We're going to talk about some high school sports in this third segment as part of a new segment right here that we're going to call the Prep Rally High School Roundup. We're going to talk about the high school baseball brackets this week because we do have a lot of our area high schools that are competing now into basically the quarterfinals, I think, if you will, for, again, the high school baseball GHSA state championships here in Georgia. Chopping up a lot of things here on this Tailgate Thursday. We're kind of laying out the weekend ahead. Speaking of Atlanta United, they have won 3 in a row. They're set to take on the LA Galaxy at home this Saturday at the Abend, so get on down there. Again, a lot of soccer fans in our local area. Dalton is like the self-proclaimed soccer capital of Georgia, and as the World Cup nears, again, a lot more soccer talk right here on the program because it's such a big event. I mean, when you think about the world's biggest events, there's no doubt. Obviously, we think about the Super Bowl, certainly, and it is, from a worldwide standpoint, one of the largest, but I'm not sure anything, we talk about the Olympics, but I'm not sure anything really trumps, whether you like it or not, anything trumps the World Cup as far as just the world's largest stage for sport.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. It's kind of funny. I've never been a huge soccer guy. Tried to pick up Atlanta United when they won the championship back in 2018. It's like, all right, maybe I should learn about this. The World Cup to me is a little bit of a tease as a Team USA fan, obviously, because you kind of go into it knowing we don't really have a shot against the better,
as the Americans, yes.
Brazil, Germany types. But, when we get to the group stage, I mean, especially in this draw, it seems winnable to at least advance past group rounds and all of that. So don't think we have much of a shot at the cup, but, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. I know one thing for sure is that all this construction going on in Atlanta, a lot of it is because the World Cup is coming to Atlanta. And I just got to say, Georgia DOT, what are you thinking? I mean, they're closing down a good stretch of 285 this weekend on Mother's Day weekend, knowing people are having to travel. The Renaissance Festival, I think, is going on this weekend as well. So for all of you folks living up on the north side of town, trying to get to the south side of town this weekend, good luck. And I think I even put a post on there, and I guess I just need to be careful. But I put, basically a regular travel weekend in Atlanta. I mean, that's kind of, because we're kind of used to that kind of stuff anyway. It seems like every weekend it's that way. But you knew the World Cup was coming a year or two ago, and yet here we are in the final couple months trying to get all this traffic done. They're shutting down roads on a holiday weekend. I mean, come on, man. Are you serious?
Man, you should be very thankful you live in a city that has hosted the Olympics and has hosted the Super Bowl recently that is capable of handling a large event, because you could live in a place like Dallas that has never hosted the Olympics and is totally unprepared.
And clueless.
And you talk about a nightmare scenario, man. I mean, they're building roads that don't even matter, man.
Right,
I mean, I don't know what we're doing.
Well, and I know you're out there in that land where everything is bigger, and so is the traffic, unfortunately. And Houston is the same way. I mean, they have all these little side roads that kind of, but it just makes things even more confusing. There's more wrecks. There's more idiot drivers out in Houston. I've been out there a few times to know. So yeah, you can't get away from it. I mean, Atlanta, and I don't know if you saw the numbers. We're up against our first break, but Atlanta as a metropolitan area now just passed Washington D.C. and Miami. So again, Atlanta, basically, everybody always says, well, Atlanta's traditionally a small market. They're not really a top 10. Well, from a metropolitan standpoint, we all know how many large suburbs there are in the Atlanta metro area. Again, and I want to say Atlanta now is a top 5, maybe number 6, I think, overall. I mean, right behind you got L.A., you got New York, you got Chicago, you got Houston, you got the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and boom, there's Atlanta right there with them now. So, yeah, it's not getting any better over here the further east you go. But again, so if you are going to go down to see Atlanta United this weekend, if you are headed somewhere through Atlanta, make your plans accordingly. You're going to need to leave probably an extra hour to 2 hours earlier than you normally would, which is frustrating, but that's kind of getting to be the norm here in Atlanta, and that's my rant for the day. Hey, that's why if we don't ever have a rant, then you can't call the show the rant, right? So here we are on a Tailgate Thursday with a little bit of a rant right there. Hey, we're up against our first break. Thanks for listening to us right here. Once again, Tailgate Thursday brought to you by your friends at Green Heating and Cooling. Dave Garner with you right here till 11 o'clock with the Golden Boy, Will Cooper, on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on a Tailgate Thursday, presented by your friends at Green Heating and Cooling. Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock. Chuck Oliver, our man, the king of college football, up at 11 right here on Sports Pig Radio with Southern Sports Today as he chops up the latest of the world of college football. We're going to go there as well a little bit on the program, and especially tomorrow when we jump back in with Big John Davis. One of the things that we were talking about was the scheduling, the Football Coaches Association getting together, having those discussions. We'll talk about that later in the program as well if we have time right here with our Golden Boy, Will Cooper, I know, who has some takes on that as well. Hey, I want to remind folks, registration is now opening for the Jammin' for Joy Pickleball Tournament in August. Again, this is all benefiting the Joy House in Jasper. My man Steve Lau, again, texted me yesterday, said, hey, registration is open right now. I told him I was going to talk about it right here on the program. And get this, he shared with me yesterday that after only 5+ days of registration, they're already approaching 300 committed players. Now, they have the capacity for around 600, and they expect to fill that. Already players from 11 different states taking part in the tournament. For those of you that may not know Steve and Wendy Lau, again, big in the community, particularly in Pickens County, very avid pickleball players. They play in a lot of tournaments, but they host one to benefit the Joy House in Jasper, which is a great charity that a lot of folks support. Look them up if you want to learn more. But again, we're going to try to have Stevie on with us maybe next week right here on the Morning Rant to talk a little bit about how things are going. But if you're a pickleball player and you want to get involved in this tournament, again, we're going to talk a little bit more about registration as well as we kind of move closer to the event. But I want to go ahead and kind of get your appetite going for it for all of you pickleball players out there. One of the common themes that we've had this week is talking about our Atlanta Braves. And today we're here with our insider, and we're going to dive into our Tomahawk take presented by Northside Hospital Cherokee in a moment there. But I want to task you guys out there with something today. Again, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open, 866-888-0744. And I'll ask Coop this question as well before we dive into the current state of the Atlanta Braves. But I want you to name the most random Atlanta Braves, former Atlanta Brave, or it could be a current Brave, I guess, too, but the most random Atlanta Brave player you can think of. I mean, I want you guys to text that. Again, Jasper Coca-Cola text line, 866-888-0744. I've got a few names I'll throw out there as well, but what comes to your mind? I mean, you're a little bit younger. You don't quite go as far back as I do, but I know you probably have a few good ones.
Yeah, so let's go with one of my childhood favorites, Marcus Giles, the second baseman.
They're good one. Good one, yeah.
And then I'm going to give you one that most people are going to say he didn't play for the Braves, and the answer is yes, he did in 2019.
Okay.
Jose Batista.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
Very briefly. I think I go back a little further. I think guys like Biff Pocoroba. I mean, anybody out there remember Biff? All right, Biff Pocoroba. I think about a guy by the name of Rufino Linares. And Rufino Linares was one of those early 80s Braves players who had the famous interview after the game one time. He made this great diving defensive play up against, I believe it was up against the wall, or maybe it was, I can't remember. And they were interviewing him after the game, and he was, I think he's Dominican or what have you. And his interview was hilarious, and I remember it even as a kid. It was like, I look to my left, I see no ball. I look to my right, I see no ball. I look in glove, I see ball. I say, Rufino, you one lucky dude. You know, I just remember some of those old, 80s. And then I think about moving along. How about Juan Berenguer? Senior Smoke, baby. Anybody remember Berenguer out of the bullpen there? He's kind of like that Fernando Valenzuela kind of big, bodied barrel kind of guy that would come out there and try to close it off for like a year or two. Used to blow the fire in there and everything. I mean, yeah, there's a lot. You could go in so many different directions with this. So again, we appreciate you guys texting in right here. We do got one on the text line. Keith from Canton texts in and says, the big cat, Andreas Galarraga. He was so fun to watch a couple of seasons that he was with the Braves. So there's one right there. That was always one of those names that Skip Carey, if you remember, as a broadcaster, and you'll appreciate this, Coop, you know how you just every once in a while you have one of those names that just rolls off the tongue that you like to say? It's like you find a reason to talk about that particular player. And I always remember Skip Carey would always be like, and the batter is Andreas Galarraga. He always put a little extra umph into Galarraga. If Galarraga hits one into the gap, we'll be partying in the streets tonight. So I don't know do you have a good Skip Carey? Or do you even know who that is?
Not better than you, I don't think. I grew up listening to Chip.
You grew up listening.
I've heard a lot.
That's the difference in the age gap right here. I grew up listening to Skip. You grew up listening to Chip. Now, I actually did grow up listening to Harry as well, because before I had my driver's license, and you're a elementary or middle school kid sitting at home, both parents work or what have you. You're sitting at home with nothing, and the Cubs would play all those day games because they didn't have lights at Wrigley. And I grew up watching and listening to Harry Carey and Steve Stone. And I could do a pretty mean impression back in the day. So I grew up watching a lot of Cubs games as well with Harry Carey. Hi, if the moon were a big plate of spare ribs, would you eat it? I know I would. I'd polish it off and ask for seconds. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of yeah. So I'm not even in practice mode. I got to work on those. I got to regain the imitations. Like if you don't practice them, you'll lose them. So I gotta work on some of those. But yeah, we want to hear your most random Atlanta Braves players. Text us right here on the Jasper Coca-Cola text line 866-888-0744. Hey, let's talk some Braves.
It's time to chop on.
Swung on and jolted high in the air, deep right field, back to the wall, a sonic boom out of the ballpark. Braves win it!
From Truist Park to every corner of Braves country, we've got your daily dose of Atlanta Braves baseball.
A walk-off grand slam, and this place erupts here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Highlights, hot takes, and all things red, white, and navy. It's the Tomahawk Take on WPGY, the Sports Pig.
All right, back here as we talk about the Braves, and we appreciate you guys being with us. Again, the Braves Tomahawk Take, presented by your friends at Northside Hospital Cherokee. I got distracted. One of our buddies here, our operations manager, came in and was asking for my keys, and I was trying to, visually motion to them where they were at. But anyway, hey, we're here chopping it up on a Tailgate Thursday with my man Will Cooper. Tomahawk Take presented by Northside Hospital Cherokee. And Coop, let's get your take, man, on these Braves. Where are we at? Again, you mentioned it earlier in the show. They lost their first series last night against the Mariners. They lost 2 out of 3. Their first loss, though, doesn't come till May. That's a good sign. They got to regroup. They're off today, and then they got a 3-game set with the Dodgers. So again, they got to turn around in a hurry.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where the West Coast road trips are always a bear, and we saw that in the Seattle series. It's hard to go out west and keep up the offensive production or pitching. One thing usually falls off, and that was finally what happened. You finally saw a bad game. Really, the first game of the series was poorly managed with leaving J.R. Ritchie out there too long, and then the last game of the series was just the bats were pretty dead. So they do get an off day. Obviously, they'll come back tomorrow and start the series with the evil LA team, not the one that we don't mind in the Angels, but the bad guys and the Dodgers.
The bad guys, yes.
The Dodgers also are struggling right now. Their offense has been way down. Pitching's been really good, but the offense has been down for them across the year. So I think that for the Braves, the key's pretty simple. You got a guy in Matt Olson that's putting together, an MVP run.
Yeah.
Ozzy Albies has proven us all wrong. It's a contract year for him. So, of course, he's going to bat .330 and make the All-Star game.
Of course, yeah.
Drake Baldwin is arguably the best catcher that the Braves have had since Brian McCann, maybe, and continues to roll. Travis d'Arnaud also in that conversation in 2020, probably. But yeah, look, I think for this team, it's pretty simple. You got to hold it together. The bullpen is looking better and better each day, especially with getting Raisel Iglesias back off the IL.
Right. Yep.
They're solid there. And, holding it together until Acuna gets back. Obviously, there's some frustration for fans regarding guys like Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, who are both just at this point kind of dead weight in the lineup. And they really shortened that lineup when they could provide protection for other guys. And I think that's where we're at right now is we got to get the guys that we're paying a bunch of money, which is, again, Murphy and Riley. Those guys got to swing the bat, man. You got to get back to your baseball card level at this point. So all things considered, Braves are doing well. Little fun tidbit for everyone out there. There have only been 8 teams that have started 25-10, which the Braves did since the year 2000. And out of those 8 teams that did that, 5 of them won the World Series.
Wow, that's some good odds. So that's some good odds right there. One of the things that we saw the other night, and I felt like it was a little, and we're going to continue the discussion on the other side of the break because we've still got a lot of Braves talk to get to, and I want to revisit something that you brought up last week that's gotten a lot of play, and we'll come back to that. But one of the things I noticed about this Braves team the other night was they hit 4 solo home runs in a game that they lost 5-4, and that was a reminder to me, a microcosm of what we saw last year where the Braves were just pretty much relying on the long ball only, but they weren't doing it with guys on base. Now, that's been rare this year. In fact, the other night, we actually saw the Braves bunt in a run from third base. When's the last time you saw that, especially out of an Atlanta Braves team, much less any team really for that sake in the MLB? But it was nice to be able to see this Braves team have the versatility in their lineup to be able to mix in some small ball and some other things as well. But again, the timely hitting wasn't there the other night. But for the most part, to your point, it has been. But this has been a Braves lineup for the most part that has been able to manufacture runs in different ways. And I feel like Austin Riley is turning a corner. I do feel like he's starting to put the bat on the ball. Things are starting to drop for him a little bit. You hate that Acuna is now out, kind of a day-to-day situation right here, but nothing serious. It's just kind of a hammy. Everything showed up negative, it looks like, on the x-rays there. So hopefully, and it's a matter of time before they get them back. But it's kind of the same song and dance. It feels like over the last couple of years, especially with Acuna.
Yeah, it does. Acuna is the kind of guy that can change the dynamic of a game. And even when he's not at his high level, which he hasn't been this year, we haven't seen really the Acuna we all know and love, especially from that 30-70 season.
Right.
It doesn't matter because his name at the top of your order lengthens it so significantly. Getting Michael Harris back, I know he was dealing with a quad issue. Just seeing him back in a day-to-day lineup, even playing left field, it doesn't matter to me. And we're very close to having Ha-Seong Kim back.
Right.
Which I do want to let people know, by the way, because I kind of interacted on Twitter with a couple guys who were like, why do we even care about this? So he was injured all of 2024, all of 2025. And when you look at his 2023 numbers, that's the mark you should use to gauge him by. So if you go to that, it's all-star level play out of a shortstop. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's here. So when you're like, why don't you just keep Jorge Mateo in that spot? He's a better fielder than Jorge Mateo is, and you can put Mauricio Dubon in left field, right? Because Mike Yastrzemski is dead weight. I mean, that was a L signing on AA's part. He has not kept up production. And then you're going to have a all-star type shortstop to pair with your all-star infield outside of Austin Riley. And then you get Acuna back and Michael Harris, and that lineup all of a sudden gets very deep until about 8 if Sean Murphy's catching. If he's not, and you get to DH Dom Smith, then your lineup is 90.
Yeah, and Jonah Heim had a 5 RBI night the other night, so let's not sleep too much on him. I know that's probably an anomaly.
Well, he's gone.
But yeah. Oh, is he gone?
Yeah, he had to get DFA'd to make room for Sean Murphy, so he's on the Athletics now.
Oh, well, heck. Okay, well, there you go, man. Our Braves insider right here bringing some room. I didn't even realize they had a 5 RBI game the other night, and now he's out in Oakland.
The day after,
I say Oakland, Sacramento, whatever you want to call them. But, yeah, the A's. So, yeah, what is about the Braves and the A's, man? There's a pretty good little pipeline going back and forth there. I mean, we're trading players with those guys left and right. So, and they are leading the AL West, by the way, or they were the other night. So, again, yeah, there you go. Again, your Tomahawk take. We're going to continue the discussion on the other side of the break right here on this Tailgate Thursday. Again, your Tomahawk take presented by your friends at Northside Hospital, Cherokee. More Braves talk coming up after the break, and we will dive into some high school baseball news, that and much more straight ahead, plus the Cooper Predictor later in the show if you want to win some money right here, or if you just want to win some friendly wagers. This is the program to listen into right here on this Tailgate Thursday edition of the Morning Rant. Thanks for joining us right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here on a Tailgate Thursday. Dave Garner with you right here as we continue our Braves talk. Again, our Tomahawk take in segment 2 presented by Northside Hospital, Cherokee. Hey, this is a Tailgate Thursday presented by your friends at Green Heating and Cooling. They've been getting it done since 1971. They can surely get it done for you, too. Again, give them a shout today and get that spring/summer diagnostic done today. Be a Green Heating and Cooling member, and they'll come out for a minimal price there and take care of everything, make sure everything's going good. Again, Green Heating and Cooling, a tradition of comfort. Back here, Dave Garner with the Golden Boy Will Cooper, chopping up the Braves there. And this morning we were talking about over on our sister station, they gave away some Braves tickets over there for those of you listening on 101.1 The Pulse, our friends at Geiger Legal, also a sponsor and friend of this program as well. And the Sports Pig giving away a couple of tickets to the Delta Club, which you and I had the opportunity to sit in last year with our buddy Art Mosley and also Asa Jones as well from the Pulse side of the house there. And man, what an experience. That was the first time I'd ever gotten to experience anything like that.
Yeah, man, if I knew those tickets were available, man, I would have been calling in. I would have gotten up extra early called in.
You might have been calling in for that one right there. Hey, we're going to talk, we're diving back into Braves. I wanted, and speaking of, this morning on the morning show, the question that people had to get right. And the phone lines absolutely lit up. People were texting in, calling in like crazy. A lot of folks were chiming in, but there weren't a lot of right answers on this one, admittedly. And we were finally able to get a winner. So I wanted to ask you this question as well. Again, and I'm just springing this on you. I'm kind of putting you on the spot right here. But the trivia question was, and I want to ask you guys out there as well, name the Atlanta Brave that homered in their first at-bat. It was a Brave that homered in their first at-bat with the Braves that would eventually move on to Chicago, gave them a famous locker room speech during the World Series that eventually helped propel the Cubs to their first ever World Series championship. Who comes to mind right off the top of your head? I mean, obviously, there's people out there, they were saying Dansby. That's wrong. Ross, that had played with the Braves briefly, went to Chicago. That's wrong. Obviously, a guy like Greg Maddux came from the Cubs, didn't hit a home run his first at bat with the Braves, any of that kind of stuff. So, any ideas at all, Coop, about that one?
Yeah, so the Cubs won the World Series in 2016.
Correct.
I think that's the important thing to note. So it's got to be somebody in the round 2010s era. Jason Hayward homered in his first at bat, three-run homer, April 5th of 2010.
Wow. Okay.
And I believe
did you just look that. You just Googled that, man. You had to have Googled that. You just look that up?
I wish I could show you my screen, but no, I'm actually looking at Trevor Condon since we're going to talk about baseball in a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, homered in his first at bat, and then again 3-run homer, and then I believe that was Game 7 of the 2016 World Series.
It was.
There was a rain delay.
They were down in the 10th inning by a run. Yeah.
Yeah, from David Ross talking about it. He said Hayward gathered them during the rain delay and basically was like, I've been playing too long to lose this. Yeah. And, we're finally here. And then they came back and won the World Series in Game 7.
Scored 2 runs and came back in extra innings to win it. Yeah, you're right. And you are correct, sir. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Will Cooper getting another Travis Scott McDonald's meal here on us here at the Morning Rant. So, again, we appreciate you guys being with us. Little Braves trivia, throwing it out right here, and we appreciate it. Let's see here. We had some people actually text in just now and trying to guess, but nope, didn't have. Jeff Francoeur was a guess, but nope, that wasn't one. I don't believe he played with the Cubs there. So, yeah, a few things. I'm trying to look through some of the messages right here. People have they've texted on our Coca-Cola text line. They've also texted me personally for those that are listening out there that know us. So I was reading through a couple texts there. But again, if you want to chime in about anything we're talking about, the Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open, 866-888-0744. As always, and even when we're not on the air, you can still text that line. And we'll take a look at your message there and eventually get it on the show. So we appreciate you guys here on this Tailgate Thursday. Let's dive back into some Braves talk here for a second. One thing that you brought up last week, and it was a hot take, got a lot of views on YouTube. We've kind of carried the conversation on, was the whole Matt Olson versus Freddie Freeman conversation. And I said yesterday, there's a new Matty Ice in Atlanta, and it's no longer Matt Ryan. Now, yes, he is involved as the president of football operations for your Atlanta Falcons. However, the new Matty Ice is Matt Olson, and he is having a MVP year so far. Now, again, devil's advocate, I would say, yes, we're only a fifth of the way through the season or what have you. I mean, I get it. But it's hard to argue at this point that Matt Olson would not be a better fit for this Atlanta Braves lineup than an aging Freddie Freeman, who's still playing at a high level. And Freddie may go on and win 5 more World Series with the Dodgers. He may win a whole lot more than he did with the Braves at the end of the day. I still think Freddie's always going to be a Brave regardless, but it's hard to argue what Matt Olson's doing right now that he, at this point in the contract is not the better option for your Atlanta Braves.
I mean, look, I know he's not on the top of the national media. If you're going to turn on MLB Network, ESPN, they're not talking about Matt Olson.
Right.
But the reality is this guy is so much farther in this point in his contract than Freddie would be with the expense it would have taken to get Freddie back. It's hard to argue. And again, the reason I said that last week when we talked a week and a half ago was because you looked at Freddie and you're finally seeing on the next level statistics his bat speed's falling off, which means the power falls off. You have Matt Olson on the other hand, who gets up there and as strong as an ox, and doesn't look like he gets all of a ball and it goes 380 feet.
Right.
And again, he's hit 13 home runs on the year. He's on pace to break the Braves franchise record again, which he broke in 2023.
Right.
He's just unbelievable. As a matter of fact, they showed it on the broadcast yesterday on Braves Vision. I don't know if anybody saw this, but the only other Brave that's had 13 home runs and 35 RBI through the first 35 games was Hank Aaron.
Wow.
Now,
yeah.
Hank was batting .453 and Matt Olson's batting .303.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that that's kind of the comp there is it says a lot. And I would even argue, I know Freddie won a couple of Gold Gloves, but, when you see Matt Olson over on the corner there, he is one of the best fielding first basemen I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even yesterday in the game, Martin Perez didn't cover first, and he nearly got the guy out on a out that would be considered way above average in the, baseball savant next gen stats type of, metrics. So really like what Matt Olson's doing. Obviously, he's the power. We just need guys like Riley to hit so he can get some protection. So it's not so easy just to walk him every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 13 home runs right now, leading the National League, leading MLB and RBIs, runs, and WAR. Yeah, WAR there as well. I know you're a big next-gen stat. You always bring a lot of perspective to the game there and to the broadcast, certainly here into the show. And so, again, it's hard to argue with what Matt Olson is doing right now as the Atlanta Braves, again, continue their streak right here. It did come to an end last night as far as the series streaks go, but hopefully they can start another one against the Dodgers. I think that they're really, for the Braves, hitting that tough stretch of games right now, because then even after L.A., they come home against Chicago, who is really surging in the Central right on the heels of Atlanta and the Dodgers, even the Yankees, as far as the best record in baseball. So, again, Chicago's playing some good ball. So, you lose 2 out of 3 to Seattle. Now you got to go to L.A., take on the Dodgers for 3, and then you come back home where you got the Cubs waiting on you. So we will find out a little bit more about this Braves team and how resilient they are over this next week.
Yeah, we will. I mean, this is the toughest stretch for them. Seattle, I know they have a losing record, but their upstart, we got out of there at a good time, I think, but they have some really good pitching. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, and then, as you mentioned, going home to face the Cubs, who have quietly and kind of unassumedly, very fastly put their names at the top of those MLB power rankings in the top 5, along with the Braves. I think for this, you're going to play 6 games total, 3-3. You don't have to win the series in both sides. If you go 4-2, that's fantastic. But 2-4 would kind of be disappointing, because the Braves really, to this point, have not played an above 500 team yet.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of my point. I mean, I think we will definitely learn a whole lot more about this Atlanta Braves team over the next week or so as we continue on through here. Here's another random Brave for you, Mike Lum. Does anybody remember Mike Lum? He was an old infielder there for the Atlanta Braves, and so again, back in the early days, man, 81. He was actually there 79 through 80 with the Atlanta Braves, and then in the 81 season as well. But he was actually with them before that in Milwaukee, I believe, or right when they got to Atlanta. I think 67 to 75, had a couple different stints with the team there. So, yeah, there's another random Brave for you right here. Hey, we're up against our final break. My, how time flies when you're having fun. The Golden Boy, Will Cooper, bringing it once again right here on a Tailgate Thursday. Visit us on social media. The Sports Pig is on Facebook. The Morning Rant is on Instagram. You can also watch full video episodes of the show daily on YouTube. The podcast version of The Morning Rant is also available on our website, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, Spotify, Podbean, you name it, we're there, man. We are everywhere. You can catch me on Twitter at DaveGarner777. He's at Will24 Cooper. That's WIL1L, Will24 Cooper. And this is The Morning Rant. We'll be right back right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on that Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve. And let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG. And let us tell your story today.
Morning Grind with Pork Rind.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
And welcome back to the program right here on a Tailgate Thursday. Dave Garner with you alongside Will Cooper. I'd already turned my mic on. I was clearing my throat. Sorry about that. Coughing right in your ear here on this Tailgate Thursday presented by Green Heating and Cooling. We've been talking about the Braves all morning long, the most random Braves players. And I will say this now, Jeff Rencourt did hit a home run his first at bat. I think it was against the Cubs. As Dr. Keith Riggy, by the way, who listens to the show pretty regularly, he's our chiropractor that joins us during Tuesdays for our chiropractic moment. And he did clarify. He did say, yeah, I think it was Jeff Rencourt that he didn't, play for the Cubs, win a World Series with them, but he did hit a home run his first at bat. Vaughn Grissom even hit a home run, briefly for his time with the Braves in his first at bat. There have been a few guys that have done that.
Austin Riley.
Yeah, did he? Yeah, you're right. I guess he did. I didn't think about it. I forgot about that. So there's been a few Braves players over the years that have been able to get a home run in their first trip to the plate there. Speaking of baseball, I wanted to run by this real quick because I told you I would. There's a lot of our area high schools that are in playoff mode right now, and I wanted to run down a few of the teams for you in the 6A GHSA bracket. Your Cherokee Warriors are in a series are getting ready to be, starting tomorrow against Parkview. So Cherokee in there, North Paulding in the 6A bracket as well, and Etowah, a team that we've talked a lot about throughout the season. They will be taking on North Gwinnett this weekend in the quarterfinals, basically. And then the semifinals will take place next weekend. So Etowah and Cherokee just a step away, along with North Paulding. In the, the 4A bracket, you've got Cartersville right now. They're getting set to take on St. Pius. As a matter of fact, that series, I think, already underway, if I'm not mistaken, either today or tomorrow. I think it may have gotten rained out yesterday, so they'll play today. East Forsyth and Kell out of that bracket as well. Cambridge and Benedictine going at it there, and that series is tied. So the rubber game of that, the deciding game to that one, more than likely today. North Oconee has already punched their ticket to the semifinals in the 4A bracket. 3A, your Pickens Dragons taking on West Lawrence. That will get underway today, I believe. Again, a lot of this action rained out yesterday. Calhoun, the Yellow Jackets, also in there as well. They'll take on Oconee County. And then you've got North Hall, Troup County over on the other side, along with Jefferson and Peach County. And then in the private school bracket, we talked to Coach Jimmy Keene last week or the week before as his North Cobb Christian Eagles got set to go into the bracket. Well, they are still alive, folks, and they'll be playing Prince Avenue Christian out of Athens. Again, in the quarterfinals, they are in it along with Greater Atlanta Christian, Wesleyan. Again, this private school bracket, of course. Kings Ridge against Leavitt. And Holy Innocents has already beaten Mount Perrin Christian, so they're already in the semifinals. But we will talk a little bit more about this next week as we get set to enjoy the state semifinals. We'll try to break down some soccer and some other sports for you as well. But we appreciate you guys being with us right here on this Tailgate Thursday.
It's time for the weekly Cooper Predictor.
60% of the time, it works every time.
On the Morning Rant.
So my question for you, Coop, is if hypothetically, because you got baseball now as part of the Cooper Predictor, does it work for the high school level? We know it's spot on for high school football, but what about high school baseball? Is that something potentially that you could run through the Cooper Predictor? I know right now you got set up for MLB.
Yeah, I probably could. It would take me a while to culminate all the stats.
You would have to have all the stats and everything. Yeah, I get it.
That's the hard part, is that when I do it for like high school football, is I have to do all that by hand. Like I literally have to write it in a notebook and do the math myself. It's not something I can just automate like I can with professional or college sports.
Right.
So, let's say
I'm not putting the pressure on or anything, but yeah, if you want to be one of those 100, sign up.
That's right. If you want to be one of the 100, send me a message on Twitter. If I get 100, then I'll do it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And again, you're at Will, W-I-L, even though your name is W-I-L-L. On Twitter, it's 1L, Will24 Cooper, at Will24 Cooper. Message him directly, or you can message us as well right here on the Morning Rant, the Cooper Predictor. But what do you got for us this week, man? I know you got some tennis and some MLB stuff going on.
Yeah, tennis. Everybody get your phones out. Go throw this in. Again, don't bet on sports, you bunch of degenerates. You live in Georgia. Make sure you use your prediction markets so you don't get in trouble.
Only if you're getting NIL money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't be like you're going to play for Texas Tech.
Oh, boy.
At the top of the hour, Hugo Delian versus Nick Hart. That's a challenger match. We're big on Nick Hart in this one. The line has moved pretty significantly in our favor, so let's get on Nick Hart. And then for the MLB, we have a trap game, which is what I call it in the pre-June market, where for some reason Vegas has in their minds that these teams are better than other teams and they won't let it go yet. We have the same thing here. The Red Sox are hosting the Rays. Jack's on the mound for the Rays. We like the Rays by 2.2 runs in this one, and they are plus 100 underdogs right now.
Right.
So definitely jump on the Rays.
Okay.
Those are our two best bets for the day.
We love it. We love it. Again, the Cooper Predictor right here, a weekly feature. My man, the Golden Boy Will Cooper, throwing it down right here. He's got the algorithms. He's got the process there in place. And we got to get you a website or something going so people can refer to it whenever they need it. But you can always always reach out to Will directly if you got a question, and he'll be glad to answer it right there. Again, the Jasper Coca-Cola text line also open at 866-888-0744. This is the Tailgate Thursday edition of the Morning Rant right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. Hey, we kind of treat this hour of tomorrow, again, we'll be on the air live from 10 to 12 as we were yesterday. We'll be at Ronnie Thompson Ford in Ellijay. So for those of you just joining us right here, if you're listening live over the dial, come by tomorrow and see us. Again, Big John Davis and myself will be in person in Ellijay, John's old stomping ground, at Ronnie Thompson Ford for our Friday happy hour edition of the show this week. So come on by between 10 and 12. But again, typically, Chuck Oliver at 11 o'clock today with Southern Sports Today. So we kind of treat this hour a lot of times as a lead up to that. And I wanted to kind of drag you into the conversation about college football. Apparently, there are some things on the table right now to change the schedule, like eliminating the extra bye week, starting the season, maybe eliminating the conference championship games. Definitely some talk going on out there. Obviously, this is something that's not really NCAA led, because I don't think they have the foresight to come up with a plan like this. But the American Football Coaches Association basically has a few things on the table right now to try to improve the scheduling of college athletics, and particularly football. And man, something definitely needs to be done.
Yeah, some of the changes that are proposed, kind of leave a sour taste in my mouth. Maybe I'm the old guy, get off my lawn type, rant here.
Yeah.
But I think conference championships are good. I think they matter, especially being a fan of the SEC. That stuff matters. I hate getting rid of it. I understand it too, because when you look at Alabama, Georgia last year, did it even matter? Alabama didn't drop any, even though they got boat raced by Georgia. Georgia didn't gain anything from boat racing Alabama. So, if all things would have been equal, it just would have been Alabama would have been your SEC title winner last year, because they were number one in the rankings going into
the regular
it.
season, yeah.
But I don't love it. Also, they talked about getting rid of Week 0. No, let's not do that. Week 0 is awesome. It's a great way for us to watch a Dublin game. Last year was Georgia Tech on the road in Dublin, or a couple years ago.
Yeah,
against Florida State.
Yeah.
So I don't love all the changes that they're trying to make there. I get getting rid of the extra bye week sometimes, because when you have the 2, it does lengthen out the season. So if you're going to get rid of Week 0, you're kind of compacting it. But all of it is due to the fact that they're agreeing to a 24-team playoff, which, you're going to have to do something, because these kids are going to end up playing, 21 games by the time you would get to the title game. It's just too much. It's too far.
It is too much. I think one of the things recommended, that the whole idea is the season would be over earlier in January. It'd be maybe a week after New Year's or something like that, as opposed to lingering on. And you could still, under their timeline, hypothetically, if you remove the conference championships and so forth, you could maybe condense that a little bit, take away the extra bye week, reduce the schedule overall, reduce the minimum number of days between contests to no fewer than 6. But there's definitely some different things on the table right here for them to consider. Hey, in the remaining time that we have left, we got a couple minutes left. I've given the other co-host a chance to do this, so I wanted to hear from you as well. Give us your Mount Rushmore, your top 4. You can pick any sport, any team, any school. Give us your top your Mount Rushmore for your favorite team here.
Since we're talking about college football, I'll go Alabama, and
I had a feeling
it'll mostly be Nick Saban.
I had a feeling,
but I'll give you, I'll give you Sean Alexander as first.
Yeah.
I'll give you Bart Starr second.
Oh wow, okay, there we go.
I will take Bryce Young third.
Oh wow,
and then I will take. I really want to go Julio here, but I don't think I can, because he's not better than Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Give me Minkah Fitzpatrick.
So this is your all-time, right? I mean, this is your all-time top 4 Mount Rushmore, but within the kind of, well, other than Bart Starr, obviously, but kind of within the Nick Saban.
Sean Alexander too.
Yeah, well, I guess he was. Yeah, he was a little bit before that. So okay. So I think about all those legendary Alabama football players. A lot of different directions you could go. It's harder with a franchise like that. We were joking around. You tend to follow like the San Jose Sharks, and like me, I follow some random teams here. I couldn't even name you 4 San Jose Sharks. I mean, so some franchises. Well, go ahead if you want to, go for it, man. You got
Thornton,
4. Okay.
Joe Pavelski.
Yeah.
Logan Couture.
Yeah.
And Patrick Marlowe.
Okay. Well, there you go. See, there you go. I couldn't do that. Chargers. I mean, you grew up watching the Chargers too. I mean, obviously LaDainian. I mean, there's some teams where you're going to have some obvious, picks in there. Does Phillip Rivers crack the top
Gates.
4? Is Phillip Rivers a Mount Rushmore? Yeah.
No.
You got too many because you got Gage, you got LaDainian, you got a lot of different folks right there. So I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks again. Will Cooper, the Golden Boy, bringing it right here on a Tailgate Thursday. As always, our Braves insider with our Tomahawk take and some other news and nuggets from the world of sports. As always, thanks again, partner, for bringing it here on this Thursday.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next time right here on the program. Just a reminder, again, Jasper Coca-Cola text line always open, 866-888-0744 as we partner with our friends at Coca-Cola. Social media, again, Sports Pig is on Facebook. The Morning Rant is on Instagram. And also daily video episodes on YouTube. The podcast version of the show on our website. That's sportspigradio.com and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast on Spotify, Podbean, you name it. You can always catch me on Twitter at DaveGarner777. He's at Will24Cooper, and this is The Morning Rant. Hey, thanks for being with us right here on the program. As always, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on the program, live from Ronnie Thompson, Ford, and LJ. So long, everyone.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, where hot takes meet hot mics.